What's up, Amazing Race fans? We are back for another recap of the Amazing Race 37, Episode 8. Joining me tonight is none other than Calber. Calber, what's going on?
What's going on, everybody?
And can you say it with me? Four times in a row. We got Goldberg. Goldberg back in the caboose. What's up, Goldberg?
I like that. I just did the spin-a-rooney.
Oh, you got that excited. I love it. All right. We are going to be recapping episode 8, Bulgaria. We're letting Race Brain win. So at the start of this episode, teams were instructed to drive to Sofia. One team had the option of winning an express pass if both team members could take part in an Narstvo ritual and firewalk over hot coils, which ended up being Alyssa and Josiah winning the express pass. This express pass to me seems super easy, like a little too easy to get. I mean, you give me some hot coals for like a 5-yard walk, I'll do it all day long.
I'm on the beach.
Yep.
I'm on the beach.
That's exactly what Josiah did because he doesn't like hot.
That's right. I'm not gonna
into hot tubs.
Yeah.
Goldberg, what did you think of this? Do you think it was a little too easy to get an express pass?
Goldberg?
Wait, can you hear me?
Yep. Goldberg.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah, no, I thought it was way too easy. But Josiah played it off like it was a little harder than it was, but it was.
Yeah.
That was a breeze.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I figured they'd get it. They were the first team to easily get there, so it wasn't, not too much of a challenge there. After driving to Lake Ariana, teams had to take part in a Jordan Day tradition by lake for a crucifix for their next clue. Teams could not travel by taxi for the rest of the leg. Goldberg, you had something last episode to talk about this. You think maybe teams were instructed to just pretend like they're dancing and having fun?
Wait, which part was this?
This was where the cross was
the
thrown
water.
Into the water, yes.
Yeah. I mean, naturally, I do think they're told to get a little hype when they're in the water. Because I think personally, Jonathan, I mean, that guy's so competitive. I don't think he'd waste his time getting excited in the water. I think he would just. I think he'd be on the move. But this was. You said the clue. What did the clue read?
Basically, after getting it.
Yeah.
Then they said teams could not travel by taxi.
The beginning of the end for one of the worst competitors in the history of Amazing Race.
Oh, this is what we're waiting for. Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll have some thoughts after this.
Did anybody find it interesting, by the way, that the guy that threw the cross in damn near threw it in the same spot every single time for each team?
Oh, absolutely. This guy's probably
only fair.
Back in the day. Probably a
tremendous accuracy.
Yes. And you get some blessings on top of that. I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm in. After finding their next clue at the collect shop near Russian Monument Square, teams had to library at university. Their teams had to translate a Bible verse from Cyrillic to English using a cipher before receiving their next clue. We got to talk about the collect shop because a lot of teams had trouble finding it. And I don't blame them. I would too. And the way it was marked was in graffiti style, so it just kind of blended in.
Yeah.
So,
but to be fair, it did have the red and yellow graffiti on it, which is universal.
Correct. It also gave you the number that it was next to, so it's not like you're going to be walking all over, even though quite a few did.
Right.
But I mean, most people got.
Erica had a bad leg. Let's just put it out there. She had a horrible leg of the race, right?
She did. She did. But to be
not
fair,
only did she fuck up with the whole cab thing, where clearly you're not supposed to get in a cab, right? Like that was her biggest mistake of the episode.
Absolutely.
But to arrogantly be shutting your mother down when your mother had the right address in the first place, and you were mouthing off to her. I guess she was sick of her mother at this point, but and we find out later that they really don't spend much time together in real life off the show.
Right.
So I guess they had a little falling out, but her mother had it right, and this is what ties into why I think she had the worst leg from anyone I've ever seen since I've been watching the show, since I've come back to start watching the show.
Well, I agree. It was really bad not reading your clue and then messing up that one spot. Might have a little, not dyslexia, but whatever it is when you read and you forget words. I don't know what that's called. I'm sure somebody in the comments can, tell me what that is.
But what would happen, Hurls or Calvert? What would happen if they weren't the last team to arrive?
They would have gotten penalized.
So they would have been done no matter what.
Yeah, they would have gotten a 3-hour. Phil would have made them have a 3-hour penalty.
Yeah.
You were specifically told not to take a cab. You took a cab the entire way here. It's a 3-hour penalty. You got to sit, and you can't go on the mat until the time runs out. So,
correct. The only thing I'll add is we don't know if they would have gotten a penalty for every time they weren't supposed to get into it, or if they were going to get the penalty for just doing it once. And correct me if I'm wrong, Calvert. And I know in the beginning of the Amazing Race, they always did, I think it was always a 4-hour penalty.
Yeah.
But I think that it's not always consistent. Like some other seasons, I think I've seen it where it's only like a 30-minute penalty or, so I don't think we know exactly, but if we're going by traditional Amazing Race, it would have been a 3 or 4-hour penalty. For sure.
And I'm gonna guess because of how many teams that were left, they would have gone with traditional rules. Because you're right, Pearls. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not consistent, but given that at this point, the 6 teams left, it's traditional rules at this point. So, and Goldberg's right. Like it's Amazing Race 101. How many seasons have we done, Hurls, where we say 2 things: read your clue, trust your cab driver.
Yes. Always read your clue. I mean. But to be fair, though, Goldberg, I know you were kind of jobbing her out because of the directions. If you remember episode 4 in Indonesia, when they were going to the pit stop after, building that little, I don't know, looked like a giant kite kind of thing.
Yeah.
Her mom did not trust her on getting to the pit stop, and she's like, Mom, I guarantee you we're going the right direction.
Whatever she did before this episode, I am not basing on her performance of this episode. She had a great season because they had no business making it this far, in my opinion.
Right.
Absolutely.
But her performance in this episode alone, just her attitude and misreading the clue was just horrendous. One of the worst I've ever seen.
It was really bad.
Her arrogance to her mother, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
And I think it gets worse from here.
Yeah, it kind of does. And Calvert, I want to talk to you about this though. Jonathan and Anna and Alyssa were the first to get to this challenge, or I'm sorry, they were the second and third to get to this challenge because Brent and Mark just aced it. Yeah. What do you think Jonathan and Anna should have helped out Josiah and Alyssa here? Knowing that two things. They voted for them on the W turn, and the fact that why help them? I know Alyssa and Josiah were nice to him in the beginning, like, hey, you want to work together, but do you think they should have helped them, even though they did probably know that they had an express pass in their pocket?
No. They're sitting there. They're struggling. They would have had to use the express pass at that point.
Make them burn it, right? Make them burn it.
At this point, they had just gotten it, not TV time, 20 minutes ago. They'd still be sitting there in the library trying to figure that thing out. You don't know. No, we're down to, well, at this point we're down to 6 teams, but for this next episode we're down to 5. You don't help anybody out at this point. There are no partnerships. There are no alliances now.
Yeah.
You're down to 6.
I thought it was a bad move on their part.
Absolutely.
Especially with the way Jonathan's been so competitive. And I know they didn't want to burn bridges. They're trying to kind of get that good graces back with the other teams.
Okay.
But like, they got the Express. Make them burn it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Go ahead.
So I do agree with one thing. They had the Express, so it makes sense to make them use it. But Jonathan and Anna were the first team out of there, right?
Second.
To Brett and Mark.
Yeah.
So Jonathan and Anna safely knew that they had a lead. And was anyone else in the room with Josiah? With them?
No.
Not at the point that they helped.
So if anyone else came in at that point, and there were 4 more teams that could have come in, or 3?
Yeah.
I mean, they were not going to finish. They were not going to lose because of that. So, does it not benefit them to help them in that point, and then say, "Now you owe us one in the future," when there's still 6 teams left?
But how can you trust that? Right.
I mean,
well, I'm not saying you can trust them, but is it worth a shot knowing that they're not going to be eliminated here? There's still 4 more teams behind. Like, is it worth the benefit to try it rather than? No.
I make them burn the Express Pass because I'll use my example. Who was the first team that got the Express Pass this season?
Jonathan and Anna.
Thank you very much. What did they do when they got the Express Pass?
Burned it right away.
And then what happened when all the other teams got to the mat? What did every other team say? Every other team said, I'm paraphrasing, that was really stupid. I wouldn't have used it right then.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because of when Alyssa and Josiah got the Express Pass, which they're going to have to use it next week, because the Express Pass is only good until week 10, or leg 10, I'm sorry, leg 10. They're going to have to use it. You make them burn it right away.
Also, that's a good point. There's also only one team that Jonathan and Anna owe anything to. And it was the only team who helped them when their car got stuck.
Well, besides the locals.
Yeah, before
the locals that really helped them get the car out of the
Yeah, but before that, there was one team who tried to help them.
Yes, they did. That's true. And it didn't work.
But they tried. At least they tried. And they probably took 20 minutes out of their time to try it.
True.
I think it was Brett and Mark, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Was it Josiah and Anna that got in trouble there?
No, he's right. Jonathan and Anna, Jonathan parked stupidly and got stuck in the ditch.
Oh wait, but that was after. But that was afterward.
No. That was the previous episode where they got stuck.
Okay. Yep. So I'm right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about that.
We didn't mention that.
You're right. I thought about
that was a crucial point of the episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. It was, but it didn't really affect them too much. Besides, they lost a couple spots because of it. But
Jonathan, you wouldn't know by his reaction.
That's
true. Why does everything happen to me?
Yeah, that was.
I have the worst luck. It's always me.
I love too that the locals were just getting branches trying to help out.
Anything they could find.
Yeah.
That couldn't have happened to a better thing. I'm so happy it happened to him.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like Jonathan Anna's explanation because I think if you would have done that, it would have been earlier in the season. I don't know how many more times they're going to have left where teams are going to be able to work together. Like, unless you're first and second, you just want to go to the final 3. Okay, maybe I can see that, but
I almost feel like they felt obligated that there were only them 2 teams in the room. And didn't Josiah didn't they offer, do you guys want to work together at one point? Pretty sure they asked them.
Yeah, and Josiah said, we have nothing. I think that was towards Holden, if I remember correctly, though. I'm sorry. Carson and Jack. I'm sorry, Carson and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Because Holden figured out that it was that
Holden looked at Carson and Jack doing it.
Right. Right.
And Melinda and Erica didn't. That was the difference there.
Right.
But
another mistake by Erica.
which
Yeah.
to go point, she could have just thrown out Erica could have just thrown out the alphabet towards the guy and been wrong, because that's essentially what she did. She basically threw letters out on the first try.
Yeah, she embarrassed herself with that.
Yeah.
With that submission.
Yeah.
I just think like there was. I mean, if these teams weren't able to help each other, I think it would have been even a more entertaining episode because we could have had some teams there for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Well, Erica and Melinda would have been eliminated in that room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And
even Josiah and Alyssa, obviously, they struggled too, but they had the express pass, so eventually they would have just used it.
Yeah.
But Erica and Melinda, so they tried to team up with Han and Holden, right?
They did.
Yes.
And they had it
right.
until Carson and Jack showed up late, right?
Correct.
Yes.
But she knew they got screwed over by Han and Holden. Even though Han and Holden stuck around and gave them a chance,
Yes.
they kind of got screwed over by them but Carson and Jack figured it out before Han and Holden, didn't they?
Yes.
They did.
So at that point, that's when things changed.
Right.
And if you're the last team, then the alliance has to be off.
Right.
You have to get ahead of them.
Right.
So yeah, this was a lot of interesting stuff.
But when you're also not in your right frame of mind, and Erica was not, she was the whole episode, she was just negative. And when you're that negative, I just feel like you're not going to figure it out. Like you're not going to, you got to be positive. Like when you're in these moments where like nobody can figure it out and it's taken a while. Like she was just so negative the whole episode.
He's right.
Bad frame of mind just starting off, and then not, obviously the taxi would have did them in anyway. So at this point, it really didn't even matter with what they were doing. But
well, yeah, but they didn't know that at that time.
No, they didn't know. They didn't know, and they still performed pretty poorly.
It's just another X on Erica's card for me.
Fair.
And here's another thing though, to go with Jonathan and Anna and helping out Alyssa and Josiah. Like Alyssa and Josiah beat them to the clue box.
They did.
Jonathan and Anna got lost. So they even lost a spot because they helped them. So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Right.
But do these spots matter at the second, third, or fourth even matter at that point?
I mean, not exactly. I mean, you're missing out on a trip or money though.
Well, no, that's only first.
Well, that's true. You're right. That is true. But you get what I'm trying to say though. Like if you're, spots do matter if you take first, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought about. I'm not sure in that situation if I would have helped them or not, but it would have crossed my mind. Did we help them?
Yeah. All right. Then after that crazy, route info, teams then had to search the sculpture garden at the Museum of Socialist Art for their next clue, which sent them to the Central Military Club. Then in this leg's roadblock, one team member had to perform a Bulgarian folk dance called horo with a trope of dancers before receiving their next clue, which directed teams to travel by foot to the pit stop, the St. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. Let's just talk about, I think it was Brett here, how right in his wheelhouse, man. First time, I mean, he does this stuff for a living.
I think he knew it before he got there.
He probably did, honestly. Like, I don't even think he needed to rehearse it. Like, he could have just, he could have just got it. I mean, no questions asked. This team, this was a layup for them.
I'll tell you what, if either one of you were my partners on this season and I had to do this, I would have formally walked up to you and apologized, but we are going home on this leg. Because I cannot dance.
Oh, okay. So no dancing tasks for you.
Can you?
I think I could have got it eventually. Yeah.
Calvert, you could?
Got it.
Probably not the first try.
No.
Which was shocking that a lot of them did.
A lot of them did.
Yeah, shocking. Not the first try. I'm not gonna lie.
And Melinda knocked that thing out of the park.
She did.
Another knock on Erica.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Made her mother at 65 do this challenge. But no, I'm just joking. She had to do it. But,
Right.
Yeah, I agree. You are just shooting on Erica tonight.
He's not wrong.
She was dreadful.
I don't think Erica's coming on the podcast. That's for sure.
Oh, we're going to try it. We're going to give it a shot. Let her come on and defend herself.
Shots fired. So then, additional note was Melinda and Erica used taxis throughout the leg when told not to do so by clues. No penalties were assessed because they arrived at the pit stop last and were instead eliminated anyways. So,
I'll tell you, man, if I was Melinda and I heard that at the finish line, that we were not allowed to take, boy, would I have rubbed it in my daughter's face. But maybe, I don't know. She's a better woman well, I'm not a woman, but she's a better person than I am. I would have said, boy, you really fucked us this time, Erica. This is why we didn't talk for a year.
Right.
And then they probably wouldn't talk again after that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you can take a separate flight home. We're done.
I'm
flying home with Pops.
Yeah, they had a bond going there, those two teams, actually, for a little bit. So coming in first here was Brett and Mark. Coming in second was Alyssa and Josiah. Coming in third was Jonathan and Anna. Coming in fourth was Carson and Jack. And coming in fifth was Han and Holden. And eliminated was Melinda and Erica. So I don't know. Melinda and Erica definitely survived a lot longer than I think a lot of us thought. But regardless of what Goldberg wants to say about them, Erica carried this team. But yes, she ultimately led them to their demise, but they're not making it that far without her. So that's all I got to say about that, Goldberg. But Goldberg, any final thoughts on Melinda and Erica?
Well, I was actually rooting for them. Like I like the idea of, a mother and daughter or son and father. I like the idea of one of those teams getting far for once because it really never happens.
Yeah.
But she was just so bad in that leg that I couldn't help but rip her a new one.
Calvert, what about Melinda for you?
I was fine seeing them go. I had them towards the bottom of the power rankings pretty much every week. I was fine seeing them go. And fitting. I said this, Goldberg, you didn't hear this because at the beginning of the podcast, or before we started the podcast, I said, look, they tried to cheat. It still didn't work. So I was fine seeing them go. I actually didn't like the second part of the Bulgaria episode.
Oh.
I thought
okay.
the first one was better.
Yeah.
I just thought that the tasks were a little simpler in the second one. So I gave it a 6.
But it was pretty lame too.
Yeah.
Like that really didn't do too much. And clearly it really didn't affect the standings much either. So all right. Bulgaria part 2. Calvert, you want to rank it?
I gave it a 6.
Okay. Goldberg, what was your rank?
Yeah, I'd give it a 7. I don't think it was that bad. But I agree with you. It would have been a lot better had they not been allowed to cheat at that one portion.
Yeah. I agree too. I think it would have been better TV. I'm going to give it I'll go with 7 as well. It wasn't the best episode, but I think there was enough that happened to make it interesting. Trust me, I mean, season 36 had a lot of dull episodes, so.
But I agree.
Even with season
to me, this was a great run. This was a great 3-episode run, in my opinion.
Yes, it was. Yeah, no, I agree.
100%. What do you guys rate Erica's performance in this episode from a 1 to 10? It's gotta be a 1.
1.
I mean, it's. Yeah, I mean, you can make mistakes, but you can't make a mistake where you go against the clue. That's like the ultimate mistake. You
can make a mistake, but you can't make 4 of them in the same episode.
Like Jonathan Anna made a mistake getting lost to a clue box.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not nothing compared to what Melinda and Erica did.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Well,
person
let's
named
not
Jack.
say Melinda and Erica. It was really just Erica.
Yes, just Erica. That's right, just Erica. She made a ton. Something was wrong with her this episode.
She
Clearly,
didn't reread that clue. She didn't
Yeah,
reread
she was
that clue.
just rushing. Like it was almost like I just want to go home kind of
It
performance.
seemed that way.
That's exactly what it felt like. Yep. Yeah.
I agree with
It
that.
was like the Miami Heat in Game 4. They wanted to lose by 57.
It was almost like the Bucks in Game 5. Oh.
Hey, don't you go there. They played hard. I was proud of them until the final 2 minutes.
Gary Trent did not want to win that game.
No. But, you know, but the funny thing is, he kept them alive.
He did.
You know, if it wasn't for him, they lose. But then he makes the boneheaded play of not being able to catch the ball. So, you know, so it was at least you could see he wanted to win that. But yeah, it was a choke job. But Melinda and Erica, this was Miami Heat Game 4 performance, though.
Oh yeah.
I would agree with that.
I'm done. I've had enough. You know.
Yeah, we're not interested. We're not even going to let you believe we're interested.
Yes, exactly.
kind of like the first episode of Bulgaria.
Oh,
right?
Nick and Mike.
Where Nick and Mike just like, oh well, fuck it, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Like any sort of like problem that team faced, they were just they were not for it.
They are not what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They will quit at the first sign of any kind of what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for?
Adversity.
There you go.
Yep.
At the first sign of adversity, he's bringing out that inhaler.
Yeah.
The inhaler. Oh, that would have been.
But Nick, we're sitting on the train for 5 hours. No, I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah, I need it. Yep. Oh, good stuff. So, so far, I think this season casting episodes have been really solid. This has been a really good season so far. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I've liked it. I mean, I really don't. Usually, there's one team that I generally just despise with a passion of 1,000 suns.
Yeah,
and I don't have that. I don't have that for this season. I mean, they've done a good job. I think. I really think they did a good job.
Well, plus we've had different multiple winners too.
Correct.
It's not like one team just dominating.
Correct. Yeah.
So
true.
that's why I really like it. So.
Well, you also don't have that guy dominant team.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Yeah. Yep.
True as well. And I love season 35. 35 was great.
Was that the volleyballers or not?
No, that was the one with the two guys from Idaho that you picked, and they lost to the two brothers. The smart IT brothers from Michigan.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where they had the scramble in the final leg. They also had the son and the dad who was deaf.
Yeah. Yep.
So wow, that was a good.
My memory's going.
Yeah. That was.
I don't remember any of this.
That was in Seattle where they had to put together that band.
They were doing the White Stripes.
No,
cover.
Not White Stripes. This was a local grunge band.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, I went swift now. My bad.
No, they did a White Stripes though. That was the one where
they did. Right. Yep. Okay. Okay.
What season?
That was like 31, I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't. Did I see that or no?
No, I don't think you saw that.
Probably not.
Okay.
He just mentioned White Stripes, so I was just. He got confused with one ending.
Yep. It's okay. It happens.
Yep.
Wait. 31 had Rupert from Survivor on it.
Yes. That was great. It was a good season. That was another good. I mean, most of them have beaten 36. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before we wrap it up, I will say I think the top 3 teams right now. I think there's a top 3. I know we have 5 left.
We do.
I think there's 3 teams. I think we have I think we have a guaranteed top 3, in my opinion.
Really?
I do.
Because I think 4. I think 4.
I think Hahn and Holden are on the outside looking in, without a doubt.
I would
And
agree with
Jack
that.
and Carson have just not impressed me at all.
Wow. Because I mean, I'm looking at their standings, and I mean they're 4th, 6th.
But who are they? But who are they? Who are they better than in the top 3? Are they? They're not better than Brett and Mark.
No,
They're not better than Jonathan and Anna. Have had a great track record lately.
correct.
And Josiah and
You could make a case. You could make a case that they're better than Alyssa and Josiah.
you could, but they've been consistent.
And that's a team that
they've been consistent, Earls.
They
all
have.
season.
I'm very impressed with the team I picked, but you could make a case that they're, you could make a case that they're a little better. And don't get me wrong. I love the team I picked. I am not complaining, but I do see some, cracks in the armor. Much like I see Jonathan Anna and Brett and Mark right now. If we're doing a power rankings, they're my number 1 team.
They're number 1. I
So,
agree. They're number 1.
Wow.
Very impressed by it.
I agree. I actually think that it's Carson and Jack that would be. So if we were doing that, Han and Holden are on the outside looking in. Carson and Jack right there also. I think the top 3 are Brett and Mark, Alyssa and Josiah, and Jonathan and Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that. And I mean, Carson and Jack obviously had that gigantic screw up with getting lost. I mean,
wait until you see.
Okay.
Yeah, you haven't watched the new episode. You haven't watched.
I'm going to. I am gonna watch it right.
Yeah.
Probably hang up here.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Calbert. I'm kind of judging it based on that episode too. So.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a clear top 3.
I agree.
Okay.
And anything could change because obviously, with this many teams left, anything could happen. But
correct.
Well, also listen to Josiah. I don't know. Now, granted, I haven't seen the next episode, but they also got the express pass in their pocket. So
that's right.
Yeah. So that's a key thing to have going, especially down the stretch. So
that's right. So they can use it until the last episode, right?
No, they cannot. They have to use it on this next week's episode. They have until
Yep.
You can use it until what? There's 4 teams left.
Until the finale, I think.
Right. Up before so they're basically, if they hold on to it, they're almost guaranteed a top 3 spot.
Correct.
Yeah, that's big time.
I think their express pass. I'll have to go back and watch last night's episode. I think Phil even said to them they have to use the express pass by 10, which would be next week.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, I mean, so yes, they just got, because you're right. Because if I were them, if that were the case, hell yeah, I'm using it at the finale.
But they didn't know. But to be fair, they didn't know last night's episode was going to turn out the way it did. I don't want to spoil it.
Yes, they don't know that. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And neither did Searles, and we can't tell him.
That's okay. We will get there shortly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we will review it. Absolutely. So
great season so far, though. I'm loving it.
Really good. I honestly don't know. I could see any one of these teams winning, but Brett and Mark for sure right now are just killing. And yeah, it's hard to bet against them.
I gotta say, final thoughts here. I would have picked Brett and Mark. I know that stands for nothing at this point. It's easy to say, but I would have picked them. However, I am rooting for Jonathan, man. I'm all in on him.
Well, obviously, I'm concerned about the preview for next week, which we can't talk about yet, but I'm concerned about.
I did not see it.
So yeah, I can't say anything because he hasn't seen it yet. But
yeah.
Oh, no.
Jonathan makes me nervous.
Oh no! I hope we're not in trouble. I'm rooting for him.
A lot of great teams have gone out at 4.
Yes, they have.
A lot of great teams. Robbie E and Brooke. No, they went out at 4. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And so did Team Rooster Teeth.
Correct.
Yep, that was the two. I thought they would have went, but yeah, it's no shame in going out at 4. I'll say that. All right, that'll wrap it up for episode 8, and we will be back to recap the craziness of episode 9 from the sounds of it. So, hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.